Debate, Uncut and After Show. I'm your host Nathan Oakley, and if you are new to this channel, or you've not done so already, then be sure to subscribe, hit the bell notification icon and join button if you'd like to become a Nathan Oakley 1980 channel member and keep up to date with the Flat Earth debate. If you would like to support the channel, there is a super chat that runs alongside each of these shows while they premiere. There's also a coffee, Patreon, crypto and thanks button in the info box below the video. Speaking of patrons, I'm going to do a quick shout out to all of you who do support me on Patreon. So, a massive shout of thanks and appreciation to Felis Mengus, Smith Tools and Purchase, Level Plain Poem, Vitali Z, Colton James, BG, Survive the Spin, FE Patriot, Thomas van der Zander, Measured Flat, Chris Wouters, Mir in the Shire, Mitch Kennedy, Rod, The Name's Burley, Jason Hornsby, JMails24, Unamento, Iron26, Endless, Retro Bill, John Kays, Patrick Gunnels, Banter, Hairy Blade, Mobile Max 777, Rob W, Del West Watson, Unbelievable Productions, Blue Ridge Ranger, Abraham Mohammed, Skeptic 936, Chow Young Cat, David Wayne Foster, and Dank. So another massive thank you to all of you for supporting me on Patreon. Links, as I say, to Patreon are below this video. With that, I'll hand across to whoever is in Discord and Google so you can enjoy their dulcet tones while I set up for today's live show.
Jin.
Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, everybody. Jin CBR1 in the house. Yeah, I just got that link, so I'm now in here. Thank you very much. Hope everybody's well.
So Nathan, I see you sent the message in chat. You're wondering who donated what. It was a donation by one of the guys from in the chat yesterday. But it was like for like $599, but it was Norwegian dollars. So I guess Divergent Jordy was making us aware.
Was it a super chat?
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't see that. Did you
get it wasn't during your live show. It was the re-up. The when you play the show in the afternoon.
Oh, right. In the Uncut and After show on the second channel?
Yes.
Oh, okay. I did wonder, because I'm like, I didn't see anything.
So everybody went bananas, but I kind of figured it's a different country, so it might not be, but it doesn't matter. Even if it was $20, right? You say thank you.
Absolutely. What was the guy's name?
The guy that comes at, I had it out with him a little bit in the beginning, because his name is Havard, like Haavard. So I apologized to him yesterday to start a clean slate, and then he sent that big super chat.
Wow.
So anyway, yeah.
Awesome. Well, I'll give him a shout out on the live show today. Cool.
That triggered a few other people to send super chats. So there was like a mini super chat war.
Oh, wow. On my second channel.
Yeah.
Less. Excellent stuff. Very pleased to hear it. What was the video about? I know the thumbnail had a Fortnite victory royale, but I can't remember what the video was actually about.
It was that whole thing when Arwen came in that time, and I was throwing him out. And then you came back in, you were like, what was the deal with Arwen coming in Discord? So it was a lot of time on that. The video was, I don't even remember. I know we covered something.
Yeah, well, we generally do.
Liam's got a good one today. He's got a timestamp. It's a Brian Cox. And I think those are the guys we want to address, right?
Sure. Dig that out. It's in Master B.
Yes, it is. Timestamp 11 minutes, 40 seconds.
11:46. Okay.
11:40.
Yeah. 11:40. Okay, yeah, I'll get it queued up.
Same thing, consensus. You don't know what science is. Brings up flat Earth, and how can everybody be wrong? And usually the only ones that are like were special or something.
Well, he's admitting that we're special because we know the magic tricks that he uses.
Yeah.
Okay, I've got it queued up. We'll cover it on the live show. Thanks for sharing that.
Thanks for having me.
Should be good. Been running around all day taking microphones to the post office and parcel shop. Several sold yesterday. Very pleased. And today for that matter. A couple sold this morning.
Did you sell the one that you tested yesterday?
What I did with that, because I couldn't figure out, while the show was going, it's much more difficult to test stuff, obviously, because all the equipment's being used to run a show, and that is first priority. As much as I need to sell microphones to keep the lights on, I'd rather keep the show going, and I'm not going to end it just to test a mic. So because you guys said, that sounds funny, I'm like, okay, well, I'll try and listen to it on the iPad. So I wired it up to the iPad, and it did sound odd. Now, it could just be because you guys said it sounded odd, that it sounded odd, but it was producing a decent level and definitely made a sound and recorded okay, and you could hear me talking into the iPad, right? But I'm like, okay, I don't want this, what was it, £17 item to destroy 1,000 feedbacks that I've got that are all positive. So I'm like, what can I do? So I went in, dug out another microphone of a very similar value and parceled that up with another wire and just delisted all of it. And then let him know. I'm like, look, I've tried to test this mic because I like to test everything before it goes out the door, because entropy's a bummer and things that you've tested once and put a video out on sometimes don't work. That's the case in point, right? So because I tested it, there seemed to be a problem. So rather than, like I say, risk my feedback, I just packaged up another one, another wire, because he'd bought a separate wire and a separate mic, 2 items. And that meant I got 2 delivery postage labels ready to go. So I'm like, well, I might as well just send out 2 lots. So he got 2 cables and 2 mics. And I told him, I'm like, look, I can't figure out what's wrong with it. It could be the cable, it could be the mic, but it seems like something's wrong. It might not be. It might be perfectly okay. I hadn't actually listened back to yesterday's show to check what it sounded like on the show. And I still haven't. I just haven't had a chance. But rather than mucking around and trying to figure out what the problem was, I just thought, well, I'll just send what he's bought and another one and just delist whatever it is that, I replace it with. So before he's even got it, he's got a replacement. Because I just think if I was buying something for, I think the total price of what he paid for was under 30 quid for both items. I'm like, for the sake of 30 quid, 30 quid's, it's not a lot of money, but it's still enough for you to, if it arrives and it's not working correctly, you'd be annoyed because you bought it for a purpose, right? People buy microphones because they want to do something with them, like record something. And if you're ready to record that thing, your mic arrives and it sounds like garbage or doesn't work, you'd be really annoyed, or I would be. So I'd rather, lose a bit of money on that particular transaction and have a happy customer at the end of it and not have to faff around for half a day, because I would have spent ages trying to figure out what the problem was. I'm like, sod this, I'll just box it up, send it off with another microphone, and then if it gets one and it goes, oh, this doesn't work quite correctly, it's like, well, don't worry about it. There's another box probably the same day that'll arrive alongside it that will work, and a happy customer will result. There we go.
From my end, it sounded like an effect, like old time telephone. Like if I was doing a radio program like a radio play,
that tells me something.
I would
capsule a limited frequency response. That's what you're describing, a limited frequency range. Well, that mic was a full range mic. It should have worked and sounded very natural, and it didn't. Therefore, it's enough for me to know there's something not quite right when you guys say, it sounds funny, it sounds like you're in the 1930s. Like, then there's something wrong with it, right? There's whatever. Either the coil's got a bit of moisture in it and it's rotted and gone rusty and it's just limited, or something's got stuck, bit of debris got in. Who cares what the reason is? It's just if it isn't right, I'd rather just send out another one especially when I've got 2 postage labels, because he bought a separate cable. So I'm like, well, that's equivalent to a kilo's worth of shipping. Why not just ship another one out? So I'd rather lose money on that one item than have bad feedback. Good job, I test them.
Got it.
I mean, I tested it already. I have a video ad on each of them. That's why I produce all those videos that you see going by as shorts. They all end up on eBay ads, those videos. That's what they're for the ad. So obviously I've already tested that mic. I've made a video with it, showed it sounding perfectly adequate, then put the ad together, and then someone's purchased it. But then I like, as I say, to test it again before it goes out the door.
I like looking at things as far as what the effect is. So as a photographer, there's a lot of days I would actually prefer to use a pinhole camera as opposed to a fancy digital one. Right.
Absolutely.
So I was listening to that mic. I thought, if I was doing a radio play, I'd use that for a telephone or like that old song, Winchester Cathedral, where he's sounding all muffled and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But I didn't realize that was made it so that mic was severely damaged if it was sounding like that.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, there's certain instances where intentionally frequency limited mics sell for considerably more money. So I'll give you a case in point. I've got a mic up for sale at the moment that's a snare drum mic. Well, what is it? Well, realistically, it's a very small mic that's got a very limited frequency range. But because it sits in that range that a snare drum works in, it excludes out cymbals and bass drums. So when you're miking a snare, that's brilliant, right? You only want those frequencies and you want it with a really tight polar pattern so you don't get bleed from the other drums. You just want the snare. Well, for that, it cost 150 quid. Now, that originally would have probably been a £250 microphone in the 90s, the equivalent of about 300 or 400 quid in today's money. Maybe a bit less, but you know what I mean? There or thereabouts. Why? Well, because it specifically limits the frequency range. Now, when you play a voice through that mic, it sounds weird. You're like, well, you sound a bit hoinky and mid-rangey and you've got no top end and no bass. And you're like, yeah, because it's a snare drum mic. Well, it's not. It's just a mic. But they've built it and then gone, well, right, okay, it only works in this range. What works in that range? Snare drums. Well, let's call it a snare drum mic then. Biodynamic, this is. So for that reason, it was that particular mic I'm giving an example of was used by the Genesis guy. What's his name? Phil Collins.
Phil Collins.
So Phil Collins used that as his snare top mic when he was doing live performances. So obviously I put that in the advert that it was used for that purpose. But it's just a limited... It's less capable in many ways, but being less capable makes it more hyper-specific in its application, therefore worth more money for it. But when you've just got something that's broken, like you say, it just sounds like an old telephone, you're like, yeah, that's not what you want.
Unless you're making a radio program and you want somebody to sound like they're in a telephone without just having to do it digitally.
Exactly. Sometimes people want that type of thing without having to use a plugin or an effect. If you've just got a mic that'll do a specific thing, then that's very useful. I've had several different mics that are a bit like that have a very tailored job through their frequency response being limited or it being very coloured for whatever reason. So one of my vocal mics, although it's not necessarily that range limited, it's very coloured, so it's got a valve in it, what you guys call a tube, and it shits up the sound. There's no other way to describe it. It's putting harmonic distortion on it. But for a vocalist, having a ton of harmonic distortion isn't necessarily always, but can be very pleasant. Especially on female vocals, if they're a little bit shrill, you can break that up with a bit of harmonic distortion, and the crapping up of the signal, like I say, putting extra layers, harmonics on top of it, normally you go, that's bad, you don't want that, you want it accurate. Well, no, you don't necessarily want it to be 100% accurate. It can be very pleasing to have crapped up sound, and what is distortion is distortion. It doesn't matter which way you dice it. If it's adding layers that aren't there originally in the signal, that's distortion. But there's good distortion and there's bad distortion. Some bad distortion sounds horrendous. Some good distortion, like on an old Neumann microphone, you can pay tens of thousands of pounds for. So in the case of this particular mic that I'm talking about, it's called a Aventone. CV12, and it's based on an AKG C12. Now that mic is 10 grand if you buy the vintage version, maybe more. You can spend 20 grand on a C12. Why? Well, because it just is particularly pleasant, especially on female vocalists, because it puts a crap ton of harmonic distortion into the signal. There's no other way of describing it. You know, it's got a very clear top end, I suppose. That's also something it does, but it's an old valve mic. And the one that I've got is a rip-off of that old valve mic. It's trying to emulate that distortion, that colour. They call it colour when it's pleasant distortion. Or it's very colourful. You're like, yeah, you mean it's very distorted.
Well, certainly a lot of people doing a lot of interesting work vocally on YouTube. They're going into different acoustically weird places under bridges or in bathrooms or hallways, or churches, of course, are always good. But a lot of interesting miking situations for those environments.
Yeah, dealing with reverb, basically. In a nice big auditorium like a church, that can be quite pleasant, but mostly it's not. Most churches are awful. There's very few circumstances where a church is actually a pleasant environment to record in. They're normally just horrible. Like I say, there is obviously going to be exceptions to that rule, but for the most part, churches are just terrible. They're full of reverb, and reverb's bad. It's just a repeating signal that you're getting back into the mic, which you don't necessarily need. And if you did want it, you can introduce that digitally and get it to sound a lot nicer. Like reverb effects with plugins are a controllable thing if you've got a dry signal. Dry meaning no reverb, no distortion, just the clear original source recorded. You can then add all sorts of clever effects like reverb to make it sound like it's in a massive hall, but you want it to sound like that on the end result, on the end recording, like the end produced product, not going into the mic. So recording in a church is a bit of a nightmare, but some churches and cathedrals can sound nice just as they come out the box, like straight into the microphone with all that reverb, can still sound pleasant straight away. But personally, I'd much prefer to just have a dry signal with everything that's recorded, just no reverb, no nothing, and then if you want to add that sort of stuff, you can just add it afterwards.
Yeah, Nathan, I was going to ask, as you're doing the show and it's running through, can a member of the public enter any time?
Yes, as long as they're voice verified.
Right. Okay.
Yeah, that's what Discord's for. Like you were. That was you until, I can't believe you're asking that. That was you till 2 days ago.
Well, yeah. You're right. The reason I'm asking is that what are we doing about getting more people coming in from the outside? It seems to have dried up a little bit, doesn't it?
Not really.
No? Okay.
Well, today we're going to Loud Bible and commenting on their channel, where thousands of people see the comments. That's all we can do, bit by bit.
Okay, that's good. I wasn't aware of that.
Also got a song to cover today about you, One Deck. I've not listened to it yet, so it's called Ode to One Deck.
Yeah, I've seen something on that. Yeah, 10th Man. He did ask me to send him the 30 words, so I'm presuming he's done something like that. But I've not heard anything myself. He told me yesterday, and I just hadn't had a chance till now. And even then, I'm always doing two things at once at the moment. It feels like that. You know, over the last 6 months or maybe a year, I was saying, there's just not enough hours in the day. Well, that's still true, but I am genuinely doing more now than I was then. So what does that mean? Well, it just means I'm doing two things at once more often than not throughout the entire day. I'm doing two things at once, all day long, every day. Very stressful, actually, I've got to be honest. Anyway, this is a case in point. So I'm setting it for the show whilst boshing his downloaded video and trying to figure out how to get it to download on the iPad to a place that I can add it to iMovie and just strap it onto all those microphone clips that I've got, so I can just have something to upload, so I've got something to play. And have I listened to it? No, I have no idea. It could be absolutely vulgar as all. I doubt it. It's 10th Man, but you know what I mean? I haven't got a clue. I'm going to play it out as a start to the show. You know, we'll get going. I'll introduce the show, and then I'll say, right, we've got a song. Let's listen to it, and we'll play it straight away. But it'll be my first time listening to it when I play it on the show.
That's I know what you mean. It's nerving, but it's a bit exciting as well, isn't it?
Well, that's what I'm telling you. I'm quite excited to play it. I've not heard it yet, so you know, even though I've edited it and I've published it, it's an unlisted video currently. But you know what I mean? It's on my channel, and I've not even heard it, so it's quite exciting.
Oh god!
I've heard the first 2 bars. I've heard the first 2 bars and the last 2 bars when I was trimming it down. So I chucked it over a 5.5 minute worth of clips, like lots of mics all strapped together, right? And then once I rendered it, I then had to trim it back down again. So I had to obviously press play to get it going, heard the first bar, immediately spun through to the end where I could hear the last bar, get the timestamp, trim it, then upload it. And then I'm like, wow, I've got to start the show now, like actually start the show.
Oh. Well, I've obviously the Big Funky Chicken song, which I really like that song, to tell you the truth. I'm not just saying that because I think it's really catchy. And I just, you know, I told you I did that anyway. And it's just a matter of getting the lyrics in there, giving the app some idea what sound you want, and, you know, messing about a little bit. And then saving the one that you like the best, which is what I did. And I did that in the space. I did it very quickly, downloaded this app. It's a free app, so you've got to pay and all that if you want to do extra things, which I haven't got the money to do at the moment. But that was in a list of my songs, and then I went in yesterday, and that song has disappeared. It's not there. Although I have got a link to it. When I press it, I can still hear it, but it's not in that app anymore. It's just gone. Now, whether you get so many days in there and it just automatically disappears. But I wouldn't want to lose that. I think it's a bit of I think it's very catchy. I mean, I'm finding myself singing it as I'm driving around, you know, because if the earth was flat, we'd measure it flat, and we measure it flat, so the earth is flat. And I'm spitting rhymes about that. You know what I mean?
Easily my favourite song to date.
Yeah, well, it's the first song I've done. I mean, obviously I've wrote poems and put words down, but it's that could be a chart topper, I think. It could. So I don't know. I need to work out where I'm going to put that link or how I'm going to save it somewhere safely, because I don't want to lose that. What we're doing today, Sensual?
We're going to Lad Bible TV on YouTube.
Right. Live Bible. So what, we're joining a live stream, you say?
No, we're going to listen to Professor Brian Dix talk about nonsense.
Oh, Brian Cox.
Something like that.
Yes, that knob end of a knob. Yeah.
Oh, God. I hate watching him. He's got one of them. He starts waving his hands about and getting all excited with himself, doesn't he? And, you know, it's just amazing. And his face is so enthralled about this galaxy and the size of it and the black holes that's going to suck everything up. And he's like, oh, God, you can just see his face. He's loving the illusion.
6 and 7.
Hello.
Good morning.
7, not 6 and
Hello.
Just gotta
Good
get that
morning,
right.
good afternoon. And those of you who are in the chat and in the Discord, guys, yeah, I've got your backs. Yeah, I'm glad you welcome you all. Thank you.
Got a treat to open the show with, so we've been sent a song that I've not heard yet. It's by 10th Man. It's called Ode to One Deck.
They came with numbers and tales of a curve to cause discord. But One Deck smiled. He'd kept his nerve. He told him gently, go state your case, but there's 30 words you dare not place. Sea level horizon, horizontal, parallel plumb, perpendicular, elevation, angles, triangles, sea sextant, theodolite, spirit dome, altitude, vertical tangent, straight line, up, down, plane, north, southeast, west, azimuth, linear, and flat. The sea stretched flat, no curve inside. The line measured 90 degrees with the light. The horizon held straight in the line. They tried to measure what couldn't be seen, yet the world stayed steady. The sea was measured even, no slope revealed. He said, you can't say horizontal, no plumb or perpendicular claims. You can't say elevation, no angles, no triangles, no sextant at sea or tricks from manuals. They tried the Theodolites, checked their gear, but One Deck grinned, your proof ain't here. Spirit level silence their claims. Each faithful bubble began to tell. No altitude calling, no vertical spin, no tangent tracing to prove what's not. Forget your straight or your line design. He said can't say up or down, only established by a reference plane. They try to find a curve unseen, a plane of balance feel flat and known. He said can't say north south, don't let east or west slip from your mouth. No azimuth, no linear chat. He said 30 words, you can't use that. They stood in silence, tools in hand, no terms to measure this open land. One Deck watched from where he sat, a truth too simple for them to combat. No word for flat, he softly spoke, yet here it lies beneath your feet. You talked in curves till reason fled. Now 30 lost words fill your head, and none could argue or stake their claim. Ode to One Deck, the watcher wise, who saw the truth through honest eyes.
That was Ode to One Deck by 10th Man Rising. So massive shout out to 10th Man Rising for giving me that. That's actually the first time I've heard that. So I was scrambling to get it edited onto a video that I could actually put on YouTube to play out for the audience today. But you're hearing it for the first time. I'm hearing it for the first time. We are all hearing this for the first time. So big shout out to One Deck for that. To 10th Man Rising for that. It's called Ode to One Deck. So big shout out. Did you all enjoy that?
Yeah, I enjoyed that. Yeah, very good. And it was all inspired by, obviously One Deck with the 30 flat earth words that no glober should ever be using. Excellent. And I want that list. I'm still waiting, One Deck, for you to DM me that stuff, please. Thank you.
Well, I will do, Jim, don't worry. I jumped out there because you can't hear it properly on here. So I jumped out and on YouTube. But I thought it was fantastic. Not just because it was the 30 words, well, not that I've just come up with, but they're our 30 words. I just sort of wrote them down and put it together as part of a team is what happened. But that was amazing, the little twist that Temp put in there. So I'd just like to thank Temp for that. Thank you very much. I'm privileged and honoured. So thank you, Temp, very much.
I've put the unlisted video. I will publish it, just not this second while I'm doing the live show, but I will probably, as soon as the live show is finished, publish that video. But if you did want to check it out or listen to it again, I've put a link to the unlisted version in the live stream chat. So if you are watching live, you can be one of the first to have heard that properly, natively on its own video. As if just to say, put the link to that video, Ode to One Deck, on my channel in the live stream chat. So check it out. Cool.
Also, Nathan, just quickly, Jim, the 30 words are listed in Master B. If you go into Teams, Master B, scroll up, the 30 words are listed there. You can screenshot it and crop it.
Thank you very much for that. I will scroll back later on and catch it then. Thanks.
I may as well read them out. I don't know if One Deck minds me doing it, but 30 words not allowed to be used when explaining how Earth curve is measured. Sea level, horizon, horizontal, parallel, plumb, perpendicular, elevation, angles, triangles, sea sextant, theodolite, spirit level, altitude, vertical, tangent, straight, line, up, down, plane, north, south, east, west, azimuth, linear, and flat. 30 words, and that's that.
As one that would
Yeah,
say, you're going to need a flat Earth for that.
You can't use these unless you're explaining flat. Yeah. So that came about when a while ago now, I was in and out of different servers and using that technique. Well, not a technique, and we've come past that now because this is what we've realized. When any person trying to explain how Earth curve is measured starts using horizontal or telling you they've measured the Earth curvature with a sea sextant, which is designed to measure elevation angles, or they've measured curve with an elevation angle, it's, what's the term, Nathan? Sorry? It's going against the axiomatic principles of the tool and the description of what you're doing. So it's impossible. So I stop people in the tracks straight away and say, you can't use that word when explaining Earth curve.
Yeah.
And it
list
stops them.
That's what I go through my comments with that list in mind. I mean, I don't necessarily have verbatim that specific list of 30 words, but generally speaking, I'm looking for a trigger word that I can point out when I'm going through my comments to say, you can't use that word. That's not available to you if you're going to suggest you're on a sphere. Now, typically, more often than not, it's directionality. That is to say, they'll ask you about what happens in the south. You're like, whoa. South's a flat direction. You're not going to be asking me what happens in the south as a globe believer. You don't get to use that term. Look at where south exists on your globe. It's down. Not even down because they don't have down either. They can't use that either, right? You've only got one terminology that's applicable to a ball, which is in and out only. Now, to reference north, south, east, and west, they have to put it on an equatorial plane inside the ball. That's how they get away with it. Now, they'll trick you by saying, there's a North Pole and a South Pole. Right? Well, no, because in terms of directionality, how it's applied to surveying, mapping, travelling, that's all flat. Look at a compass. How's it work? Is it working up and down? No. It's not working with respect to poles. Now, you can describe a pole star, that's the Polaris star used in navigation, to give you an idea of where true north resides, but that doesn't mean that it's up. North is still flat.
Yep. And like you say, Nathan, ask them to point south. They'll be using a horizontal arm and a horizontal finger above surface level, probably.
Yeah, go and buy a compass is what I say to the people in my comment section. I'll be honest, I've been bringing the banhammer down quite a lot more recently in my chat and in the comment section because people just go straight to ad hominem attacks. I think it was Brian that pointed this out to me. He's like, I'm just not going to tolerate this anymore. Brian's logic, that is. You're like, why would I entertain somebody who goes straight for the ad hominem attack, starts describing how stupid you are, and then asks a question that requires a flat earth measurement? Now, in the past, I would have said, well, you need a flat earth for X, Y, Z. Now I just ban them. It's like, you're not here to engage in discussion. You're here to mock and ridicule me, personally. So you just get banned immediately. It's like, if you're going to call me some name, I will ban you. Now, if you start off with a description of your ball faith, and then seemingly, as far as I'm concerned, accidentally use a flat earth axiom in your question, and then insult me, that's borderline. In other words, I might then respond, not ban you, and point out that you're an idiot in reply for using a flat earth axiom like a directionality, north, south, east, and west. But for the most part, I don't know, the majority of Ball Earth comments at the moment are just a straight up ad hom. They're just straight up attacking me personally in their opening statement, in which case I just ban them. I'm like, why would I keep this going? Now, why have I started doing this more recently? Well, it's because of a guy called Frame Chasers. I mentioned him on yesterday's pre-show. Now, by chance, he was actually talking about Flat Earth because, unbeknownst to him, he is under the misapprehension that Flat Earth is a useful example of people exercising their belief in things based on what they've been told, kind of a trust me bro. And his example was to say, well, why wouldn't you test things that are claimed to make, I don't know, a game run better on a computer? That's his shtick, right? He's covering gaming equipment, which is great. But then he's like, using an example of, well, would you just believe next man when he tells you Earth is flat, when it's just a belief that you haven't proven? Now, I actually responded in the video that he said that in and said, well, have you measured Earth? Undoubtedly got immediately banned because it's not on topic for him. He's just using an example. But moreover, the point still stands. Why wouldn't you measure? And his attitude, just to get back on point, is if you come onto his platform, as he calls it, right? He's like, well, why wouldn't I be of the opinion that if you're going to come and spew nonsense that you haven't tested as an opinion in my comment section, why wouldn't I ban you? Because you're detrimental to my audience. It's my platform. Why wouldn't I be allowed to just ban you outright? Just because I feel like it if necessary. That's his attitude towards anybody that comes onto his channel and starts spewing nonsense about stuff they haven't tested when it comes to computing. Now, for me, I feel the same. It's like, if you're going to come on my channel and start calling me names, why wouldn't I immediately ban you?
Been my point for the longest time. Why do we have to put up with it? They only want to come on to so they could chant and get it out to an audience and to undermine you and to ridicule you when we're not in a position to be ridiculed. We're giving facts right now. You can't ridicule facts.
Not giving facts, Neil. We're spitting out facts, mate.
Spitting facts, that's right. No, Nathan's spitting facts. I'm giving you facts. I'm telling you Earth is measured flat. Here's all the ways. You got a list, don't you?
Yeah, we've just been through that. Well, that's what we're talking about. That's where we're up to with that point Nathan was explaining about when they use certain terminologies like, directional, east, south, northwest. It's a flat horizontal direction, and we have to point that out to them. That's how a compass works. That's what we were saying.
I think you got to add that Nathan's spitting facts and clearing out all the rats.
Everyone loves adding lyrics to your absolutely outstanding song called If Earth Was a Big Roast Chicken. I love it.
Well, I'm a musician at heart,
Oh, yeah.
I was in a band.
Yeah, everyone's full of ideas. Oh, why don't you add this? Why don't you add that? I get it with my book. Jin did it the other day. Why don't you add this in?
Yeah, I was getting it, like I said, but no disrespect to anybody. It's nice to have some input, but I thought to myself, I really like that song. I'm happy with everything. It was a spur of the moment things, which I think sometimes spur of the moment things work a lot better. Just go with it, see what happens, and a lot of the time, them things work out really well. And I feel that song did, and therefore, I'm leaving it as it is.
Well, then I'm going to come up with my own song. Nathan's spitting facts and clearing out all the rats.
You do that.
Anybody want to help me with part 2?
No. I'm good. But I really appreciate all the people who've been producing music over the last week. That's one of my favourite things ever. The reason I'm keeping a lot of the microphones I've been buying is because I hope one day my 2 daughters will become a bit more musically inclined and I'll get to record something. I'm like keeping them in the vain hope that I'll get to record some music with them. But my entire being is dedicated to music reproduction. This whole space that I'm in now, it's got giant hi-fi in it and has had for the last 25 years. Because that's what I love doing. I love listening to music. So people producing music around the topic that I'm obviously making YouTube videos about is outstanding. It's just my favourite thing ever. So thank you. All the people who've been making music, really love that. It's just so ace. Makes life worth living. Right, we've got a video to cover from Coxie. So, this video is called Brian Cox on black holes, wormholes, and infinite universe. Lab Bible stories. So we're going to give this a bit of a crack. Did you want to tell us about it, Central, as it's you that suggested it?
Timestamps in Master B, and it's the usual stuff.
Okay, well, let's crack on.
Absolutely terrible. Apart from a thin band where we live. Prove that the moon landings are real. Yeah, you just any photograph, look at any.
Sorry, look at any photograph. So if I produce a photograph of a dragon, photograph in quotes, right? You're going to say that the dragon's real because I've got a, quote, photograph of it? I mean, for a start, on most of the moon landing footage, you can see the line where the backdrop begins. So, no, I'm going to say that it's on a stage because it is on a stage. I painted plenty of backdrops at college. I know what a backdrop is. And the moon landing's done with a backdrop behind. Now, if you know what a painted canvas backdrop looks like, you can't help but spot one. But according to Coxey, you just have to look at the photographs. No. To be on the moon would involve travelling via a second law of thermodynamics violation sky vacuum. If the sky was a vacuum, 10 to the minus 17 Torr, as alleged in a heliocentric worldview that's been created with flat Earth measurements, then all the gas we're breathing would vacate this area and we'd all be dead. We'd have never developed gas pressure. So no, the moon landing violates the second law of thermodynamics. Men can't travel through a sky vacuum to get to a light in the sky we call the moon. So looking at photographs proves nothing. Because it doesn't show that
was
they're not
poor,
on a
that, wasn't
set.
it?
Say again?
Sorry, Dave. Sorry, go carry on, Dave. Sorry, my fault.
No, I'm done.
Oh, yeah. I'm just saying that was so poor a response. Yeah. I mean, that was pathetic, wasn't it? Just look at any photograph. Next question, please. You know what I mean? You can tell that he doesn't want to go there. Yeah, just look at a photograph. What's the next question? Let's move on.
Well, I mean, in terms of looking at photographs, so I've got a comparison, right? I've said it's on a stage. It's a set. What about if you go to Narnia, take a picture of Aslan on the set? Does that mean Narnia's real? I've got a photo. If I take a real photograph of the real stage set in Narnia, I mean that Narnia's real? By this standard, Cox has just said that pictures of Narnia are real by the same standard. No, just having a picture doesn't mean that the thing you're taking a picture of isn't fabricated and synthetic. In this case, a set with a man in a costume. It's like a man in a lion suit lying on a big slab doesn't mean there's been the ultimate sacrifice in Narnia. But how do we know that Aslan sacrificed himself? Well, just go and look at any picture of Aslan being sacrificed on the slab. That proves there's a talking lion by the standard laid down by Coxey here. What crap standard?
Yeah, I mean, it's just like saying the Earth's a big roast chicken, isn't it, really?
Got a picture of it.
According to Elon Musk, you can tell it's real because it looks so fake.
Graph taken by modern spacecraft.
This looks like a set. Looks like a backdrop. Looks like they're on a stage, because they are. Meanwhile, the suggestion that they've been through a sky vacuum debunks the entire trip. Good.
Look at his face.
Looks like he's having a sniff your own fart moment. Yum, num, 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 num.
For example, which are not American spacecraft, if you want to be really conspiracy.
See this? That's a backdrop. Behind this is a painting. Now you might say, oh no, it's actually rear projection. I don't give a crap. This is not the same as this. What you're seeing in the foreground is not the same. It's like Wizard of Oz. Yeah? Again, maybe people will have their illusion shattered and they'll be like, oh no, I really thought there was a yellow brick road. No, it's a painted backdrop. Certain amount of the foreground is real and a set with yellow bricks, but beyond a certain point, it's just a painting. Now that's what this is, a painting in the background. That's all it is. On a set. On a stage.
Territorial about it. We have photographs of the landing site.
We have photographs of Aslan being sacrificed. Therefore, Aslan's real. Got photographs of it, right, Coxey? What a muppet.
It's with the stuff there.
Sorry, Nathan. It's a shame he's got no, like, the equivalent of some black box data, to show the everything that happened within the capsule and the pitch data for it and everything else. But apparently that's all gone missing.
Yeah, what a shock.
I've met several of the people that walked on the moon. I've been very...
They're liars. The men who've claimed to be on the moon are liars. They're one of the few categories that we can actually point out and say these people are demonstrable liars. They're claiming to have travelled via a sky vacuum that would leave us all dead, would leave us in a situation where we would have no gas to breathe. It would have never developed if the sky was a vacuum. What a vast empty space for entropic gas dispersion to take place in. Then we'd have no gas to breathe. If the sky was a vacuum, the gas we're breathing would have filled that space. We'd have no gas to breathe, ergo there was never a trip via a sky vacuum to a light in the sky called the moon. It's all nonsense.
I can't understand why. I mean, so what? You've met somebody who claims that they've been to the moon. By him saying that, well, I've met them, so, they obviously went there.
Yeah, how is that a logical consistency? I met the liars that said they went through a sky vacuum, therefore they definitely went through a sky vacuum. Garbage.
And they are undoubtedly not bullshitters.
Oh, really? Well, just take your word for it. Trust me, bro. Trust me. I've met the guy who watched Aslan being sacrificed. Trust me. The man who I met, he saw Aslan being sacrificed. Not a bullshitter. Is this your standard? Trust me, bro, they're not lying. Trust me, they're absolutely unequivocally violating a law of nature if they say they travelled through a sky vacuum. They didn't. They're unequivocally bullshitters. They haven't travelled through a sky vacuum, because if they can travel through a sky vacuum, so can all the gas we're breathing.
It's just sad. They have a very low standard. I was just going to say that.
Trust me,
we
bro.
have a high standard. They have a very low standard.
Trust me, bro, they're not bullshitters. That's his standard.
And you've seen the video of Buzz Aldrin punching someone who said otherwise, and
yeah, that would be somebody who showed footage of them claiming to be in low Earth orbit, covering up a window to produce what looked like a crescent Earth from a window that they were alleged to be in low Earth orbit in. And then what, Buzz Aldrin got all pissy because he's being called a bullshitter? I'd call him a bullshitter. I'd say what you're suggesting is a complete lie. You're a lying charlatan and you belong in hell. And he's not long far from that hell, is he? He's quite old now. The lying bullshitter suggesting that he's been through a sky vacuum. Yeah, he belongs in hell for his lies. He's deceived an entire world with lies about going to the moon. That's why he was pissed. Now, if it was absurd, if it was genuinely true, why would he get so angry about it? The answer is because he knows damn well he's a liar. Doesn't like being called out for it. Buzz Aldrin is a liar. He's lied about travelling to the moon when he was actually on a set, on a stage, not in a sky vacuum in violation of natural law. Absolutely, unquestionably a bullshitter, end quote, Cox.
Yeah. Also, it was because he was asked to swear on the Bible that he had gone, and he didn't want to do that. And it was Bartsy Bro that was chasing him up. So in the end, Bartsy Bro called him a liar, a coward, and as he was going to say a thief, he got a right cross to the jaw. Why would he do that if he had gone to the moon? Why did he just say, okay, there we are, swear on the Bible?
Just laugh at him.
That's proof, isn't it?
Just laugh. If it was true, just laugh at him. Laugh it off and go, what are you talking about, you crazy nutter? Instead, he got really angry. Yeah, no one likes being called out for their lies. Buzz Aldrin's no different. Why? Because he's a liar. One of the few people we can actually say is unequivocally a liar. Absolutely, without question, a bullshitter.
He also made a statement that when he was sitting in his apartment and Bartsy Bro was there, they're looking at that scene you mentioned where they were putting an acetate picture of the Earth into that round porthole to simulate they were halfway to the moon, let's say. Now, he stated that if you show this to the public, you're in for a lawsuit. He said that. That was Buzz Aldrin threatening to sue Bartsy Bro. He said, we're all passengers on this. Go and speak to NASA. Why'd you come to us? We're just passengers. Go to NASA.
Yeah. on the one hand, they're claiming they're passengers. On the other hand, they're claiming that they've got photographs of them holding sextants and doing navigation. They can't get their story straight. They were also assessed for Rich Hall. So Rich Hall had a behavioural analysis done on the interview that they did when they returned with the guy who does the Sky at Night. I've forgotten his name. But
Patrick Moore. Sir Patrick Moore.
Right. The Patrick Moore interview, and all three of them were sat in front of him talking about their trip to the moon. They had a behavioural expert assess them for credibility, and he came to the conclusion that they were lying. Now, he didn't draw any conclusions about what they're lying about. He just said, based on their behaviour, they're liars. Now, I'm not going to lean into that. I'm going to say, based on the fact that they're violating a natural law by asserting they're travelling through a sky vacuum, that makes them liars. They're in direct contravention with a natural law. That makes them demonstrable bullshitters. So, Buzz Aldrin is a liar. What's that? You're going to cross me in the face with a punch because I'm calling you a liar? Yeah, that's what liars do. Get very angry when they're called out on their lies.
Neil Armstrong, when he was being analysed by what he said when he was speaking to Sir Patrick Moore, the analysis said that Neil Armstrong was actually giving us a clue because he tended to exclude himself when he was describing him, even though he was supposed to have been there. That was a slight little bit of whistle blowing, he said, an attempt. Okay? So it's quite an interesting analysis of what he said. So, you know, I would say that Neil Armstrong did try in his own subtle way to let us know something wasn't right. I don't feel he was happy about the situation where he has to lie for the rest of his life. So he tried to let it slip out as best he could. But there you are, you know, it is what it is. He didn't go, and we know that.
Speculation, right?
Well, yeah, but you can say it's speculation. But the way you answer certain questions determines whether or not you're telling the truth, you see. And he answered the question where he was excluding himself from the action, but he was meant to have been there. That's quite an important clue.
I fully supported him in that endeavour. How many galaxies are there? In the bit we can see of the universe, let's say 1 trillion, and you'll see different numbers because it's hard to measure, actually, so we make an estimate.
Let's just make it up. Let's just say 5 trillion. Just let's say that. For
any advance on 5 trillion? Any advance on 5 trillion? Any advance? 6 trillion. I've got 6 trillion over here.
100 trillion.
100 trillion over here for the man in the right. Any advance on 100 trillion?
7 quintillion.
7 quintillion to the man over there in Japan. Any advance on 7 quintillion? No. Sold for 7 quintillion galaxies.
That's based on little bits of the sky that we can observe. It's billions and billions and billions, to paraphrase Carl Sagan, and it's something like, you could say 300 billion, 500 billion, 1 trillion, even 2.
So you could just make up any old number. Just say any number. Is it? I'm going to go with. Is it 5? No, 6.
2 trillion. So within a factor of 2, 3, or 4, we're not really sure. It's an estimate.
So, to put it another way, you don't friggin' know.
Because you can't count them.
So why are you giving a number, you stupid dickhead? I can't count them. We don't really know. So 7 trillion, 5 billion. I mean, let's just pull a number out of my ass. You should have led with that, you stupid dickhead.
It's an exercise for everybody who's listening. Count to 1 trillion.
No, I'm good, thanks. Why? Would that be anything like the number of stars when you've just said unequivocally you don't know and can't count them? What use would that be, you stupid buffoon?
It would take you 31,688 years to count to 1 trillion anyway.
Well, that was hyper-specific.
To me, when you've done it, that's a lot, right? Which physics conspiracy theory really riles me up, or you up?
Struggling to read much. Which physics conspiracy theory? Well, talk about mixing metaphors and category errors. What's physics? Physics is a study of the physical and natural world. It's governed by science. Same thing. Physics is science. Science is the scientific method.
The elucidation of the cause of naturally occurring phenomena. That's things that occur in the physical and natural world, otherwise known as physics. What's conspiracy? When two or more people conspire together. What's that got to do with science? Complete category error, mishmash of a question that you couldn't even read out correctly.
I think it is the flat Earth.
Sorry, the flat Earth's not a conspiracy. It's how Earth gets measured. Like in the alleged spaceship where they held up a sextant. Yeah, I've got images of Buzz Aldrin holding a friggin' sextant. That's a flat Earth measuring tool right there. Now, he wasn't going out into a sky vacuum. He was just on a stage, the bullshitter. The unequivocal liar that's known as Buzz Aldrin. Yet that liar was holding a flat Earth only measuring tool called a sextant. What's that? They were just passengers. Why in unholy hell was he holding a sextant, alleging to navigate the flat ground with it then? Because they're just passengers, just bullshitters with flat Earth measuring tools like sextants. The very people you've referenced to as not being bullshitters. Why? Because you've met them. Therefore not bullshitters. They're holding flat Earth measuring tools, though, in their set, their stage show where they're claiming to go through sky vacuums. So no, flat Earth's not a conspiracy. It's not two people conspiring to measure the Earth as a surface level from sea level for parallel eye level. These are demonstrable facts and measurements, not conspiracy.
Because it's just bizarre. The moon landing stuff is bizarre enough. But
sorry, what? The moon landing stuff is not bizarre. It's just bullshit. It's just complete lies. What are you talking about when you say it's bizarre enough? What, the people don't believe in the stage show violation of second law of thermodynamics they called the moon landing? That's bizarre enough. Yeah, it's got nothing to do with how we measure Earth from surface level and sea level for parallel eye level or trig or horizontal distance measurement. These are all just demonstrable facts of how we measure Earth. Flat, in all instances. It's not physics, it's not conspiracy, it's maths, it's measurement of Earth. Good.
Yeah, but Nathan, that doesn't matter because he'll probably pull out a picture or an image of a blue marble in a minute and say, well, that's all you need. Same as the picture of the moon landing.
But the flat Earth thing requires almost everybody who's sensible in the world to be part of a conspiracy.
Really? So when we've got a map maker laying down a horizontal distance scale on a flat map, like the Ordnance Survey, you're saying that that's them partaking in a flat Earth conspiracy because they're describing the distances across the flat terrain that we mapped and navigate flat with flat measurements of miles. You're telling me that that's Ordnance Survey taking part in a flat Earth conspiracy? You complete bonehead. No, we just measure Earth flat, cocks, you clown. Maybe look into cartography rather than space travel from bullshitters. Because Earth is measured flat.
Yeah, but Nathan, they successfully put us in the freaking conspiracy category.
Yeah, we've got all the wankers that came along and talked about Mandela effect and Tartaria and clone centres and 9/11 to thank for Cox's instinctually correct sentiment when he appeals to the wider audience that we're all conspiratards. Why? Well, because all conspiratard roads lead to a flat Earth so that we can talk about flat Earth and be labelled as conspiracy. When in reality, Earth is simply measured flat. Now, why would you need to go to this elaborate scheme of making all conspiratard roads lead to the flat Earth subject matter? Well, so you, cocks, can get away with using flat Earth tools in your lies like the moon landing lie. They're holding sextants in their bullshit world that they suggest they're travelling through sky vacuums in. They're using flat Earth measurements on the ride that they had no control over, therefore wouldn't need a bleeding sextant. But they're still measuring Earth flat with elevation angles, altitudes off surface level, sea level, surface level, parallel eye level, all axiomatically requiring a flat Earth. That's how it's measured, mapped, navigated, flown over, in all instances and without exception. But you need to make it a conspiracy, Cox, because it gives you justification to exist in your stupid, nonsensical world of sky vacuums and balls that are also derived from flat Earth measurements, specifically elevation angles off a flat Earth to derive radial values so you can put the world into an orbital motion given to you, Cox, by the Roman Catholic Church. That's where your religion of a sky ball floating around in a sky vacuum around the sun came from. It's derived from flat Earth measurements and was given to you by the church, so you can tell your audience that we're the conspiracy. No, you have a religion, and your religion is built on flat Earth measurements.
So they're the conspiracy then.
Yes.
I think it's projection.
It is.
Yeah.
Also,
Did they see?
I mean,
Sorry, go ahead.
sorry, mate. I'm just saying also, I'm sure, was the opening question something about geometry, Earth measurements? Is that what the question was?
It's being asked just what's the worst conspiracy, physics conspiracy that he dislikes. And then it's like,
physics.
I like flat Earth.
Physics, yeah.
Cox is a wanker. And he's such a big wanker that when he was in the band D-Ream, the technical crew gaffer taped him to the lighting rig and hoisted him up into the ceiling because he's such an unbelievable wanker. They all fucking hated him. That's why they gaffer taped him to the lighting rig and raised him into the ceiling because he's such an unbearable wanker. That's a fact.
That gaffer tape is very strong too, man. That'll hold you.
Apparently, he screamed like a little bitch as he was hoisted into the ceiling by the technical team.
Did they see any stars? I don't remember seeing any stars.
Isn't that true, Cox, you screaming bitch? You were hoisted into the rafters on the lighting rig when you were in D-Ream. Now you're pissing me off to the point where I'd like to gaffer tape you to a lighting rig and hoist you into the ceiling and watch you squeal like a little piggy just again. That's what I'd like to do to you, lying piece of shit. They're not bullshitters, I've met them. Well, you are. You haven't got the slightest clue. You've never been into a violation of the second law of thermodynamics sky vacuum at 10 to the minus 17 torr. You've just spoken to liars, and then it's, trust me, bro, they're not bullshitters. Yeah, they are.
What gets me, though, Nathan, here, is that he's gone into the flat Earth conspiracy palaver, right? Now, he should be coming off the back foot of saying, obviously, the Earth's not flat because we've got measurements of the globe. And this is, it's been measured, for crying out loud. And this is how it was measured, using elevation angles at sea level.
Yeah, exactly. That's the whole point in making us a conspiracy, making flat Earth a conspiracy. So that you, Cox, can use the flat Earth measurements to allege that you're on a ball, like sea level, like surface level, like eye level, like sextant measurements, elevation angles. All of these things are axiomatically requiring a flat plane of reference be measured, mapped, charted for your claim that you're on a ball. So you need to ridicule and mock all flat earthers so that you can get away with using flat Earth measurements. That's how it works. Your church rhetoric, given to you by the Roman Catholic Church about 300 to 500 years ago, is based on flat Earth derivations of angle measurements to stars off a flat Earth. That's this whole game. It's the game we've been playing for the last 10 years. The game of pretend there isn't measurements being made so we can only appeal to the calculations after measuring Earth flat with horizontal distance measurements, elevation angles, surface level, sea level, flight level, eye level, all of which axiomatically requires Earth be measured flat. For your ball belief to even exist, Earth must be measured flat. So what do? You make it a conspiracy. You make 9/11 truth roads lead to flat Earth. You make clone centres and Mandela effect roads lead to flat Earth. You make Tartaria roads lead to flat Earth, so that every single person talking about flat Earth can be mocked and ridiculed as an idiot, while you get away with using the flat Earth measurements required when measuring Earth as a flat plane. That's the only way Earth ever gets measured. So, Cox, where's your globe measurements? If I'm wrong, just provide a single globe measurement. You won't. All derived radial values have come from flat plane measurements of elevation angles, without exception. To develop a ball for you to believe is flying around the sun, you require Earth be measured flat. That's a fact.
The
small number of people who, in my view, appear to be a bit odd.
Sorry, do normal people piss the technical crew off so much they have to be gaffer taped to the lighting rig? I'd say you're a wanker. Odd? Yeah, annoying. That's why you got gaffer taped to the lighting rig, you pathetic wanker. Nobody liked you. But you want to pour scorn on me for being odd? For pointing out Earth's measured flat? For your belief in a ball? Where do you think you got your measurements of radius? Where do you think you got your sphericity? It's measured with elevation angles off a flat plane. But you want to pour scorn on us personally, turn it into a personal attack about the people? We're talking about measurements. And how you, an annoying wanker, got gaffer taped to a lighting rig. You annoying oddball twat.
To be the only people who know the truth. So
Sorry, no. When I described the Ordnance Survey, charting and mapping of the territory, rise overrun, surveyors, those people aren't a small group of individuals who believe Earth's flat. They're people who professionally measure Earth flat. Because that's how it's measured. Rise overrun, elevation angles, sea level, surface level, eye level, flight level. These are all facts. Do you think the people who are in straight and level flight are in on a conspiracy of flat Earth? You crazy numpty that got gaffer taped to a lighting rig. No, you're the oddball. You're the idiot, not us.
So the idea.
I always thought the pilots were a bit odd, staying in straight and level flight if they were supposed to be flying around the globe. That is a bit odd.
Yeah, do you think the people who are calling out the flight levels from ground control with respect to sea level, parallel with it, are they odd, Cox? Are you pouring scorn on the people who tell aeroplanes what flight level to fly at, parallel with the surface level, like measured in black box data? These are flat Earth measurements that are dealt with on a daily basis, all day, every day, 24/7. Yeah? It's not like there's any time in the day that there isn't a flight in flight level, travelling in an axiomatic flat Earth direction, north, south, east or west. All flights, without exception, are being poured scorn on because, according to Cox, it's oddballs. A small number of them. Really? You think flight crew are all oddballs? No, you buffoon who is gaffer taped to a lighting rig. You're the oddball. Because you're pouring scorn on a group of people that measure Earth flat. Not me. I'm talking about flight crew. Anybody who's manning or running aircraft from the ground or in the sky for flight level, off sea level, measured with altimeters, kept in straight and level flight with gyroscopic motion. That's what's being done. Earth's being measured flat all day, every day. It's not a small number of people. What you've decided to do is create an impression that it's a small number of people so that you can use the flat Earth measurements without being called an idiot. Well, you are. That's why you got gaffer taped to a lighting rig.
Everybody who's kind of flies a plane or does science or...
Sorry, everyone who flies a plane in straight and level flight, as measured in black box data, off sea level, parallel with it, nose up with respect to horizontal, you think these people are flying around a ball in level flight? Idiot! No wonder you got gaffer taped to a lighting rig, you stupid moron.
Did he say does science?
Science, he's got a category error on his hands. He's a
Oh
buffoon.
boy.
Yeah, give it a J.
To be the only people who know the truth. So the idea that everybody who's kind of flies a plane or does science or does anything at all is like we've all the clever people have got together to invent something that...
No. The people on a plane are flying in straight and level flight. And science is a category error. We're not dealing with cause and effect if you're talking about flights or measuring Earth. That's not a science category.
For no reason at all.
Or not for no reason. The reason we're poured scorn on is so you can use straight and level flight without anybody noticing that you're measuring Earth flat. You've just given an example of planes. So you're going to tell me that they're flying around a ball? Not according to the black box measurements, they're not. They're nose up with respect to horizontal, using gyros to make sure that they are nose up with respect to horizontal. They're using trig to land the plane. They're using horizontal distance measurement in the trig calculations for descent. That's what they're doing. They're measuring Earth flat cocks. Have you never looked at black box data? Have you never looked at the descent calculations? They're using a triangle and horizontal distances. You absolute joke of a man.
I'm not being funny, Nathan. I know you've just done a J, but the words he's using, the way he's behaving, his facial expressions and his arms. I can only see one odd person at the moment, and his name's Brian.
Well, I think he's right about something. Intelligent people got together and conspired a ball. I agree.
It's just, I don't know.
Aldi's Super 6 adverts.
He doesn't know, just like he doesn't know when any galaxies are in the sky. He just doesn't know anything.
Favourite scientist? Oh, it's so easy.
Pound says he doesn't name a scientist.
To say, it's so easy to say someone like Einstein, isn't it?
I mean, Einstein has done some science. I'll give him that one. Pound, I've lost.
I like scientists that have made a massive contribution that we haven't heard of. So one, which I was lecturing about the other day and talking about, is there's a scientist called Emmy Noether, and Noether, Einstein described as one of the greatest mathematicians.
So not a scientist then, you fuckwit.
In history that many people have never heard of.
So do you not understand the different categories that you describe in Cox, you complete bonehead? There's science, that's the study of the physical and natural world, otherwise known as physics. And then there's maths, like a mathematician. What's the best scientist? Well, this mathematician I know. What an idiot.
And Emmy Noether, what she did was she showed the relationship between what we call symmetries of space. So the fact that the laws of nature are the same now and will be the same in 2 seconds' time.
Okay, so if we were to detail, for example, the second law of thermodynamics, that's a law of nature. What does that describe? Entropy? The arrow of time? So if we're going to describe it with an example, we could say, I don't know, gas filling space. For the audience's benefit, if you fart, the gas spreads out throughout your home, letting everyone in it know how smelly and dirty you are, only to eventually dissipate through any cracks and crevices into the available space available to it. And it's only with time that gas dispersion will occur. Now, if the sky was a vacuum, an available volume of space, then the gas would fill it in line with the natural law description of entropic dispersion. That's the second law of thermodynamics. So they'll hold true now and in 2 seconds' time. So in 2 seconds' time, space will still be fake then? Yeah, it will, yeah. Gas would be filling it in line with the entropic dispersion law, known as the second law of thermodynamics, which holds true now and will still hold true in 2 seconds from now. Yeah, the arrow of time always holds true. Gas will always fill space. Outer space, the sky vacuum, is therefore bunk. A lie. Fake. Not an area that men could travel through, because if they could, so would the gas. That would expand into it in line with entropic dispersion law.
Right, so that's a symmetry in time. That's related to the conservation of energy. And she showed that the fact that if you do an experiment here and here, then you get the same outcome. The laws of nature are the same, is related to something called the conservation of momentum. It's like the recoil of a rifle and so on. So that was brilliant. And so she's one of my favourite scientists because
What experiment did she do? She's described natural laws. She said if you do an experiment over here and over here, you've got the same outcome. Okay, well, that's just describing what happens within the scientific method. What experimental data did she actually provide? He didn't give an example. Ergo, based on his extrapolations and descriptions of this person, they didn't do any science. What is science? Science starts at step one, I've already detailed it, descriptions of the phenomena that you're going to study. That's to say, to have the scientific method start, you must first observe a naturally occurring phenomena. That's to say, you watch something occur in nature and say, I wonder what caused that. That's step one. Step two,
formulate what's known as a scientific prediction, otherwise known as a hypothesis. It's an if and then statement in a suppositional format with a null. That's to say, if A, that's a presumed causal influencer, then B. B being the phenomena you observed at step 1. Your suggestion being that if you vary A, you will cause the phenomena to occur. Alongside that, in the scientific prediction known as a hypothesis, is a zero difference result called a null. That's to say, if A, you vary your causal influencer, B will not happen. They sit alongside each other because only one of those two predictions can be proven upon step 3, experimentation. Step 3 is varying and manipulating that which you assume causes the effect you observed at step 1. It's the variation of A in your hypothesis to see if B occurs. If you vary A and B does occur, tick, you have proven your alternative hypothesis as true. And you rule out your null, because you can't simultaneously cause something and not cause it at the same time. Violation of the law of non-contradiction. On the other hand, if you vary A and B does not occur, you rule out your alternative hypothesis and validate, that's prove, your null. Because you can't not cause something and cause it at the same time. Again, a violation of the law of non-contradiction. You can't have both be true, only one will be proven. So upon step 3, experimentation, that's the variation and manipulation of a presumed cause, you will either cause the effect you observed at step 1 or not. That's the only outcome. One or other will be proven upon experimentation. That's physics, the scientific method. What's this guy saying? Well, according to this mathematician, you can have an experiment over here and an experiment over here. Meaningless drivel. Doesn't mean anything. You're in a category error, you clown.
Well, not many people have heard of it, but it's massively influential. What stops atoms mixing? Like, how do they know to mix with the right things?
The question contains a reification fallacy. Atoms aren't sentient. They don't know anything. Idiot question. And he'll try and answer it, I guarantee you.
Well, we're talking about chemistry, so...
No, we're not. We're talking about a reification fallacy. You've been asked how atoms know how to do something. Are you under the misapprehension that atoms are sentient? I know. I'm going to mix... No, they're not going to do that. They're not sentient. You utter clown. Now, the fact that you're not pointing out this reification fallacy is idiot speak from a moron gaffer taped to a lighting rig in his former musician career. That's what you are, an idiot. It's also anthropomorphization, making human that which does not have any human qualities. In this case, atoms, feeling and thinking things. Idiot with your anthropomorphization question that you didn't point out.
They don't know how to do anything, but for example...
Well, at least you got that right.
If you have carbon, then it's got 4 electrons around.
So why are you describing the answer then? That's where you end this. It's a stupid question.
And it, which would like to pair up with other electrons. So
it would like to, would it? So it's got a nice little warm fuzzy feeling. Oh, I think I'd like to. No! Anthropomorphization, you stupid batshit insane retard.
So he contradicts himself.
Yes. Point out that they don't get to feel things, but then describes how they like doing stuff. No.
Has 1 electron that would like to pair up as well. So you can stick 4 hydrogens onto the carbon.
Is that it for this video? Is there anything more about what we're doing?
There's a bit more later on about there being a creator, but it's only loosely tied. You can end it there if you want.
I think we will. Cool. Good video. I enjoyed it. Please let Lad Bible Stories know at Nathan Oakley 1980 sent me with a polite comment that doesn't immediately get eradicated by the YouTube algorithmic bots or indeed by the videographer themselves. So I'm going to put a link to Lad Bible Stories in the YouTube chat now. So if you are watching this live, then do pop along, as I say, and let them know. At Nathan Oakley 1980 sent me with a polite comment that doesn't immediately get removed. Hopefully, if Lad Bible Stories were to do a response, they'd put a link to my video in theirs when pointing out the category errors that Cox has come up with in response to some of the questions they've put, or their audience has put to him. So
So yeah, please let him know. There's, as I say, a link going by in the live stream chat now. And I'm not saying this for my health. If you are watching now, actually do it. Don't, stand on ceremony. We will stay live for a few more minutes while you good people who are in the live stream audience do this. So yeah, let him know. Lad Bible Stories. I don't know why I'm struggling to say that. Cool, yeah.
Yeah, considering you got that other word, right? What is it? Anthropomorph. How do you say that?
Anthropomorphization.
You nailed that one.
It's because it doesn't sound correct. Lad Bible Stories just sounds wrong. Lad Bible Stories?
How do you say this 6-7 thing? Can you correct me from earlier?
6,
it should have been
7. It's just 6, 7.
It should have been stories, Bible stories by Lad.
6, 7.
You got it. 6, 7. It doesn't mean anything. It's brain rot. I was listening to Infinite Plane Society say that it's somehow, not him, but one of his calling guests was saying that it's linked to 33 or something like that. I'm like, no, it's not. It's just some crap that kids have come up with. It doesn't mean anything.
What up, guys?
Well, that was fun.
Thumbnail up now is the one that the butthole was looking for a long time ago. One of the buttholes, the main butthole, the rude butthole.
You talking to us?
Oh, it changed now.
We have no idea
all
what you're
these
talking about, D-Rose. What are you talking about? Buttholes. What are you talking about?
Huey.
That's what I'm saying. All these buttholes talk. You're gonna have to sit on a bed and wash your bum out. Come on, man.
Anal sphincter.
I still don't know what you're talking about.
Anal sphincter cranium.
I know what a bumhole is. That's not what I mean. You're going to have to be more specific. Not about what a bumhole is.
Huey John Suntor, whatever the name is.
What about him?
Oh, he's talking about Huey. Remember he was looking for it for the book? The big head man inside the globe. Yeah, one of the shows he was looking for the... Yeah, he was looking for... This ain't it, though. He probably found it, and now he's going to steal it and take it.
Okay. Fair enough. Right, any more comments? Anything anybody wants to add from Discord?
What did I miss? What's going on? What was the topic?
We were just covering questions that Lad Bible Stories... There you go, got it out in one go that time.
Covering what?
Lad Bible Stories had a load of guest questions put to Brian Cox.
Thanks for clarifying that. You was talking, I don't like the first beginning was straight up pause, no diddy. We were talking about Cox, so I didn't. You threw me off. Brian Cox.
Professor Brian Cox to you.
D Rose.
We were talking about Cox.
Why on earth would we be talking about Cox other than Brian? It's not like I know him
one deck song
to put 2 and 2 together like that. So to be optimistic, I'm thinking you're talking about roosters, but I have to just make sure this clarified. No. There's only one king chicken here, and he's the one that spits out flat earth facts.
Indeedy weedy. Right, as I say, comments from Discord before I round out this live stream? No? With that, I'm going to say a huge, massive, enormous thank you to both Discord and G+ panels first and foremost. But if you are watching this on either Nathan Oakley 1980 or Nathan Oakley programming streams, then stay tuned, as there will be an after show to follow.
It was well covered. I felt. I go too deep into it right now because it would take up some time as well. I have to try and condense what I've learned. Yeah, but
the way Nathan addressed it was perfect because even if he was correct, it's the logic that he's used to prove his point that's flawed. So even if there was a sky vacuum to take pictures from, just citing the photographs themselves it's not a way of proving it. It's already assuming your outcome.
That's right. Yeah. And it's been well exposed that none of the pictures purported to come from space are from space, because the latest digital photographic analysis software is proving that they're all been copy and paste Photoshop and composites. So they haven't come from space. So, it's well and truly be debunked.
There is no space for them to come from, though. That's the point. There's no space for them to exist in. So, yeah, you can show that they're composites, but that still works on the premise that there is a space that you could take photos from. There isn't.
No, there isn't a space you can take photos from, exactly. The vacuum wouldn't allow it. The radiation wouldn't allow it. Yeah, it's not possible. Totally impossible.
Who was talking about Cox's body language? Because I completely agree. I just don't think it was...
One deck.
I
was looking at it too.
He looks nervous as all frig, doesn't he?
Very, very nervous.
It's that fake smile he puts on. That fake smile. Keeps smiling, That face, horrible.
Well, he just seems like he knows that he's on a sticky wicket, and therefore he's tentative about his answers. Now, if you were confident, you wouldn't need to do that. But he's not confident. He seems nervous.
Exactly. Yeah. Very uncomfortable.
Yeah. One comedian called it, I just ate ass. Look on the face. But you're sitting at the table and nobody knows you do, and your wife be like, oh yeah, he does it all the time. And you just got that look on your face like your boys don't even know. And they're looking at you like, ugh, it's that nervous look, like you just ate ass.
No, I thought the whole thing, he was very uncomfortable in his whole delivery. Like he's embarrassed.
That's why he said something ridiculous like they're not bullshitters. The astronauts are not bullshitters. He actually said that.
I had people tell me, and Danny Faulkner says it himself, because he knows astronauts that are Christian, therefore they went to the moon, because why would they lie? Christians don't lie, according to Danny Faulkner. I mean, it's ridiculous. I heard it at the pulpit at Times Square Church. I heard the guy came, and he was one of the last guys to supposedly orbit the Earth. And just a bunch of nonsense that was allowed to be spewed from that pulpit.
So, Neil, you mean to tell me a Christian that's a liar expects us to believe other Christians that are liars just because he's a Christian, he's a liar that says, well, they can't lie because they're Christian? That's what you're telling me.
That's his logic,
Wow.
Danny Faulkner. Well, the guy's a Christian, and he's a brother, so we can't question him because, it's under the premise that, why would he stand up at the pulpit and lie? Well, because he's a liar. No matter if he's standing at the pulpit or standing on a street corner, a liar is a liar.
Brian Cox is always entertaining because he has so much disdain for us. But that disdain was put back today. He always gets Nathan's creative juices flowing. He always goes to the gaffer tape on the ceiling, which is amazing.
I was waiting when he was going to go to the gaffer tape. Let me tell you something. That is the most coveted tape on job sites. When we do theaters, we freaking grab the white and the black gaffer tape.
Yeah, he gets very angry when he refers to us as conspiracy theorists. You can tell he takes it very personally.
Yeah, because we fly in the face of his very existence. His career is diminished by our existence. If we win, in his mind, because it's a battle, what's he got? Absolutely nothing. His entire life is a waste of time. He'll go down in history as a bullshitter and a liar and a charlatan. So, yeah, he's very, very annoyed by us. And so he damn well should be.
Public enemy number one, right here. You talk about measurements, you talk about fact, you talk about proving Earth is flat. You are public enemy numero uno. Talk about ice walls all you like, Talk about a lot of things. Talk about 9/11. You can talk about anything and you're good. You're not a threat to them. But when you say the things that come out of this show, No, we can't have that.
Shout out to Lane. I won't use the second name. I think I know who that is, actually. Yeah, I'm pretty sure by the thumbnail I know who that is. Thank you for the super chat via PayPal. It'll go straight to my wife for transcription purposes. Thank you very much.
My man Skep.
Can you
Yes, I
imagine
think
the tantrum Cox would have if he told me he needed a flat plane to measure his globe?
I mean, I did cover that in the live stream. Yeah, he needs.
Yeah, you did cover it. You covered it thoroughly. Sorry about that.
Yeah, he needs a flat plane to have a globe exist. Without a flat plane, you can't create a globe.
Well, he said that why would intelligent people, like they put together this scheme, but it's really the ball that they put together. That's the conspiracy. Very intelligent people got together and conspired to put us in a prison of a ball.
Yeah, what you should be asking is, why would the Roman Catholic Church take flat Earth measurements and create a mathematical orbital motion that I've now reified into existence, so I can mock other people who point out Earth is measured flat for that very orbital motion that I believe in to exist? That's the real question. Why did the Roman Catholic Church mathematicize flat Earth measurements into orbits? That's the question.
Yeah, why have they turned a
Put us on a
concept
ball.
into a religion?
Yeah, to put us in a prison ball. Right? It's the only prison with no freaking bars.
Or maybe they wanted us to realize the infiltration of Satan in the church.
Well, that's always the one behind it all. But think about it. It's like that prison that they sent in Superman when they send him into freaking the vacuum of space in that like mirror type thing. Well, that's what the ball is. They got us in a prison floating in outer space.
Somebody yesterday mentioned somebody's back in the day concept of living in a bubble with water as above, below, all around us. I've heard that before.
Yeah,
That's
it's a
interesting.
firmament. That's what they claim the firmament is, because
Right.
in the scriptures there's waters above
And water's below.
waters below, and when he opened up the windows of heaven and the
Cataclysmic.
flooded the earth. Yeah, so he has this. This guy, he did this is early in flat Earth.
Yeah.
This guy did like a little demonstration, and he had like this oval type thing, like a dome type thing, and
With aluminum foil. He had aluminum foil and everything.
I don't know what it was, but he had it in there, and there was no water getting in.
Yeah. I remember that. Yeah. And with the one I'm talking about, he even broke it down to the point where the whole Neptune situation came about on that concept, as Neptune being the god of water. And they were trying to put all this stuff into, you know how they convolute things. And they were saying whatever culture or civilization, whether it be the Greeks or whatever, they kind of intertwined that with their belief in this Neptune being, the god of the world, of this world. And waters are the greatest thing, 70% of our environment, yada, yada. All the things that tags to water is everywhere, water is everything, it's in our body, yada, yada, yada. That's where the whole Neptune thing came up with. The Neptune is supposed to be the god of water. So it's amazing how they can take everything and just kind of whatever kind of culture or civilization wants to take their deity or their, the paganistic beliefs or whatever, and intertwine it together. It all roots to one thing, and it's the water. Even Bruce Lee said, "He like water."
You know, what's all these AI things I've been seeing with Bruce Lee and Muhammad Ali? Like this AI generated segments that they had together. Very strange.
You mean they kind of made up these conversations, or they just kind of, yeah. No, but you know, Bruce Lee did say that really on during his
I know that
interview. Yeah, his Cato interviews when he was doing Cato. Be like Walter.
What a smack in the face that was, huh?
Yeah.
He was Kung Fu. And they didn't give it to him. They gave it to David Carradine. What a smack in the face, man.
Yep. Yeah, but David Carradine was very good in his.
Yeah, he was, but it was Bruce Lee.
Yeah, it was meant to be Bruce Lee, but yeah, Bruce Lee was busy doing other things anyway, wasn't he? That was the other thing.
No, that was the one that was going to blow him up. He was annoyed about that.
I was too busy being water,
They gave it to a Caucasian.
This was way before Bruce Lee became Bruce Lee. This was his break. Cato finally gave him a break, but Kung Fu was going to be his break.
Green Lantern, not the Green Lantern, sorry, the Green Hornets.
Green Hornet and Cato, yeah. So he took that as a sidekick, but Kung Fu was supposed to be his baby, and they gave it to David Carradine.
Yeah. Yes,
they had the nerve to put makeup on him to make his eyes look slanted. That's the crack.
Yeah, that's silly. That was, yeah. Water can take the shape of the vessel of a cup. Water can crash you on the rocks, can clean you out. If you're a glober, it can clean you from your disillusionment. Yes, be like water, my friends. Be like water.
Or don't. I mean, it's up to you, really.
Yes. Another one Bruce Lee said. Go ahead.
I was going to say, it's amazing because there's a lot of things that are incalculable to man. The stars, you know, but the water, the volume of water, that'll never be. These are just certain things that, and this is when I go back to what I was saying. If man was just more humble and just said, I don't know, I wonder, I would assume it's probable, but for any person to put a stamp on it, mine is the person that measured, but you ain't measured no water. Mine is the person that measured or calculated them out. You haven't done that. So STFU, you know what that means? STFU, and sit your ass down and stop trying to be all high and mighty like you know everything, because you are an arrogant ignoramus. Be humble. Say, I don't know. I have no clue. I can't even guess. But if I had to guess, I'd say 40 trillion, gazillion, cotillion, kabillion, alamalillion tons.
A cup's usefulness is dependent on its emptiness. That was Bruce Lee. He said that as well. That a cup's usefulness is dependent on its emptiness. I used to say that to the Globers a lot. So you might want to tip out the junk in your cup, clean it out, and then you'd have room for the flood of truth. Because your cup is overflowing with junk.
On another note, I had to share this joke that I literally made up and I'm proud of. And it came upon me because me and a coworker were I was helping her with a task that she does with these charts, trying to remove the items of paperwork and then take the chart, elsewhere so they could be refilled for another day. So this is the joke, the riddle joke. What did the stripper's one butt cheek say to the other butt cheek?
I don't know. What did the one butt cheek from the stripper say to the other butt cheek from the stripper?
Teamwork makes a mean twerk. Did it go over your head?
A little bit.
You know what they say, teamwork makes the dream work?
Yeah.
So So the butt cheek said to the other one, teamwork makes a mean twerk. You know what a twerk is?
Yeah.
Okay. So the one... Is this mic on?
Tough crowd.
Hell yeah.
Yeah. We get it. Tough crowd.
Yeah, tough crowd.
I thought it was more brilliant than maybe funny, but I thought I'd get a laugh out of it. Everybody at work laughed.
Hey guys, I just want to say good morning. Hope you're having a blessed day.
Morning.
I said good morning, everybody.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning.
We're saying good morning.
Long time.
Good morning to you, sir. Good morning to you,
Nathan,
sir.
and who else is there?
Is that
Rose.
Guns?
Yeah,
Oh
it's
no!
me.
How can I
haven't been
forget
on
that
in a while.
voice?
How you guys doing? What's going on?
Very well.
You tell us what's going
Yeah.
on.
Well, the like you said, the heliocentric system was created by the Jesuits or whatever, by the the crown, the crown, whatever. I think it's a lot to do with the what do you call it? Not Greek mythology, but sun worship, that sort of thing. That's like you said, Satan behind it, Neil.
Fair to say, yeah.
He's always the author behind it, but I'm kind of baffled how you're not even intrigued about anything that's happening. Seems a little suspicious to me.
Well, no, I've been in the wings. I've been in the wings, listening and watching, and there's a couple of guys that need to be slapped out. That's for sure. I know that, but that's violence. Couple of backhands here and there, I can't believe, if anybody, I can't believe Adam did that. If anybody, like QE, I could see. I think he's like he embellishes all his stories. You know what I mean? But I mean, Adam doesn't. So that was the shocker when I heard Adam did that, like fake the robbery and all this stuff. Unbelievable. He needs to be kicked in the nuts. Pardon my. Sorry about that.
I agree with you. I'm more shocked about Adam.
He seemed to be on the level. A pharmacist. He's a good. He's a good guy. He got arrested. He went out there. He spread the word. QE basically off the coattails of Nathan. That's how he became who he is. Basically, he had the knowledge or whatever, the science behind it. But I think if it wasn't for Nathan, QE would have been never recognized. He'd be only a chat skank. Yes.
I agree 1,000%. And I also agree. I also
I'm
feel.
sorry, Nathan. Yeah.
No worries.
I also feel that.
Yes.
I also feel in my gut that Adam was on the fence about it and was convinced by the encouragement of QE by saying, "Look, man, all this damn hours we didn't put in, all this work we didn't put in, fuck that, fuck that, Adam. Get some balls. You can just tell. I see the scenario.
Did you ever hear how QE treated Adam when they were doing dictation and punctuation? God,
Yeah, he's rude. He's rude to everybody. To everybody.
Yeah, just he's so curt and just I don't know. I don't know how he lasted in the army without somebody doing him in. You know what I mean? Anyway, that's here and there. Nathan's got it straightened away. That book is going to be a top seller across the world, and I can't wait. I'm going to buy 4 copies.
Woo!
And that's a fact. That's whether it's embraced or becomes controversial, it's going to be up there in the discussion of books. Trust me.
Well, I'm going
It's going to have a juicy. It's going to have a juicy ending.
Exactly, it will have a juicy
the
ending.
other side. Yeah, the other side, the overlord type people, like in that area, they're going to be very intrigued and they're going to buy a lot of copies because they keep a lot of secrets or whatever. But I just have a feeling that a lot of copies will be bought by our opposition. Like, I mean, the uppers. That's just a guess. They'll use it as a training manual for the up and coming, who's the big M's, the bricklayers. That's just what I'm just a guesstimate. It just looks like I see a lot of book sales on the horizon for Nathan. Like, not only regular people, just other people, our opposition. I can't wait. You agree?
I have no idea. I hope it sells.
Yeah, Nathan, I really have a good feeling about our opposition. Let's face it, the Masons. They could use that book. They'll have it right there on their podium. It'll be their second most important textbook that they can refer to as their training, teaching, or whatever, however they do it. Yeah. Anyway, I have a feeling that there'll be a few lodges that have that book.
Well, this is the only book that talks about measurements. They may allude to it in other books.
Absolutely. Just makes sense.
Yeah, it's true.
Go ahead. If they're gonna expose the truth to these, the ones they trust, they're gonna need some sort of reference to explain why they're whatever, exposing or training or whatever they do, teaching, I guess. It's the best. It's going to be the best text, but getting back to Adam and QE, I was going to go to his channel there and say something, but I didn't. QE's channel.
Well, we did try to get people to reach out to them and get them to, hand over the draft so Nathan would have to pull his hair out listening to freaking recordings. A few people have reached out. They go on his show and tell them to basically knock it off.
Yeah, I heard that. Jeez.
I could imagine what QE's response was. Go yourself.
No, he don't respond at all. He does not respond at all to anything pertaining to this matter. But if somebody sends in the chat says more people have learned more from DJ on 24/7 than QE, that he came off the mic and responded to.
Yeah,
which proves he's a narcissist. He's a narcissist.
QE was good at the presentations, with the pink liner. Like, his presentations are really good. But I think he did those way before he was even involved with FED, I think. Those, like the definition of science and, whatever, gravity and all that stuff.
Well, it was done on FED.
No, I know, but a lot of times he'd say, well, I did this presentation back in 2016 or 2018 or something, like, you know what I mean? Before he was involved with Nathan, I think.
Oh, you both Todd's online?
Yeah. Yeah, I think it was probably on his website, probably. I'm not sure. I've never checked his website out. Have you? Anyway, the bottom line is, when I heard the story about Adam saying they carefully took the window out of his shed, Like, what a place, a shed. I have visions of flowers, you know what I mean? Or plants in the shed. You know what I mean? Just, oh my God. He's not a very good liar. Nathan, have you talked to him since, or is it more just you just ignoring each other? Like they're reaching out to you, aren't they?
I just leave it.
Unbelievable.
You can imagine what's going on, mate. You don't have to dig it all up.
To answer your question,
no, I know.
no, they weren't responding to me. I was
because I haven't
them...
talked to you guys in a while. Yeah, exactly. I understand, Deck. I just haven't talked to you guys in a while, but yeah, okay, I'll drop it. Let's carry on with the what were you guys talking about before?
To answer your question,
relax.
Oh my God. To answer your question, no, I reached out to them many, many, many times, and they just ignored me. Then I went to the wider group.
Okay.
That's to say, I went to our inner circle. Then I went to my members. Yeah. Then I went public. That took about 4 weeks in total.
Okay. Like Brian says, I'm wasting time when I come on here. Brian, I haven't heard him in a while. What's he doing?
Brian lined up with the other side.
Did he?
Seems that way. Which is all the more heartbreaking.
It's not talking about that, but I've had things happen in my life where you think this is absolutely crazy what's going on in my life at the moment. I never would have expected this or this person to not be a part of my life anymore, and that's what happened. But sometimes I think to myself, well, it's out of my control. This I'll sometimes just sit back and think, well, I'm just going to let it happen. Whatever happens. Just enjoy the ride. If you can say enjoy it, but you know what I mean.
Nathan, what do you see as my thing now? Just the O, right?
Yes, just an O.
I tossed that shit in the trash.
Excuse me. Oh, just had a McRotten's breakfast and a large coffee. My goodness.
I missed the last of that. Brian Cox, did he come to any look? What was the outcome of Coxie? Woxie? Did he work out how many trillion stars they were, or what?
He's perfect. He was calling out perfect. He was calling out for tissue paper. After all that pulling out of his butt those numbers, he needed a lot of tissue paper. That's all I know.
Yeah, he has a voice that he puts people in a trance, and then he influences people very easily. He's a snake.
It's because he looks so gormless and waves his hands around a lot. It's like, what are you doing, mate?
Well, he's a cross between Mick Jagger and the guy from Aerosmith, Tyler. That's what he looks like. The cross. He got just got that look, you know what I mean? Frail.
He's got that half a fag look.
Yeah, the half a fag. Yeah, biochemistry, exactly. I'm a biochemist.
If you're a bit of a geek like him, and into all your Star Wars, not Star Wars, stars of space and all the heliocentric nonsense, you can get away with it, can't you? If you retreat into this fantasy heliocentric, You got no.
Yeah,
No one's
exactly.
gonna, except for us, no one's going to challenge you. You can talk about infinite galaxies and black holes swallowing things and getting spaghettified in different dimensions, and just think, I love talking like this because it's absolutely ludicrous, but it's just all part of the, that's part and parcel of the world and what everybody believes.
Yeah.
So just
He's a loon. He's a looper. Yeah.
Any of us could do it and get away with it.
Oh, they can talk about anything. Infinite, infinite space, right? They could go on and on and on forever. Talk about bullshit. Just make things up. Ever expanding space. The expanse. They can bullshit. How much bullshit do we? They land rockets on a fucking meteor. Pardon me, on a meteor. Are you kidding me? 1 billion miles away, or whatever. Like people, they just lap that up. Just think of that. They landed a rocket on a meteor, and they took samples or something. They know exactly.
It's not that they lap it up. It's that's all you got. You could tell them anything. He could say anything,
exactly,
and they'll believe him. No validation.
Absolutely.
It's an adult. When you was young and you used to, your parents or yourself used to read stories, these, fantasy stories about whatever, and you go to bed and you dream about it and you're excited about it. That's what it is for adults, this heliocentric nonsense.
Oh, yeah. It's like candy. Exactly. I was one of
See
them.
what I did do. I don't know if... I don't know if Nathan's listening, but I just had a quick. I've heard Nathan mention Scientology a number of times, but I always just thought it was like, a branch of, let's call it pseudoscience. But I had a quick look at it the other day, a quick clip. Yeah. It's like they've got it's natural religion, isn't it? It's a religion, and they've got churches and all this going on.
Oh yeah, it's almost as bad as the Masons. They'll off a person that's going to divulge their secrets. They don't like that.
And they've got different things that, I can't remember it all, but it was just like a 5-minute clip of the founder and the book he wrote and something else.
Yeah.
And I thought, I didn't think it ran that deep when I've heard the word Scientology. I just thought it was just a branch of pseudoscience and nothing more. But it's quite deep.
Let's talk about that expansion. Let's talk about that. Let's talk about that expansion. Let's talk about that expansion. We know it's limited, but we have a container. We're in containment.
Yeah, we're
pressure.
in a container, and we're in a very large flat Earth.
So we don't know. The longitudinal or the latitudinal distance of that expansion. Again, but we know. But we know the expansion is out there, and we don't know. Like I said, the latitudinal or the longitudinal. So for any man to try to say what it is, whether he's a flat earther or whether he's a glober, is an arrogant ignoramus. We leave those things to the 9th, 10th, 11th, 12th wonders of the world that we will never discover, and STFU. Again, that's my opinion.
That's a good point. We'll never know the actual truth, but we know through the Genesis and the Bible. We are in a container, like we are contained, and there is supposedly water above us. The firmament, and I think the star. It's like a huge clock, like a lot of people refer it to. Like it doesn't go anywhere; it just rotates above us.
It's deep.
It's
deeper than that.
Liquid or whatever it is. Yeah.
It's deeper than that. You could be an atheist and don't even believe in the Bible, and it is proven because of entropy. Even for the most caveman, primitive thinking atheist, it's still explanatory. So it ain't got nothing to do with that, even though that helps infer and allude to the point.
Physics.
It's on both sides. It's on the secular side and it's on the religious side. That is evident.
But listen, that's the good thing. Exactly. That's the amazing thing about science. You just never know. And, you can just keep assuming things. That's the good thing about science. That's why science is so amazing.
Yeah, exactly. You never-ending learning.
especially if a mathematician scientist, that's even better.
Is that what Cox is? Supposedly, a mathematician.
No, he referenced a scientist who was a mathematician.
Oh yeah. Okay, yeah. I had a good laugh. Yeah. These guys are delusional. They're so lost. It's amazing, eh? They talk a good game, eh? I don't know.
You're breaking up.
Autobots, regroup.
Sorry to do this just in the middle of a live show, but can I just check that this actually works? Does this sound okay?
Yeah, excellent.
Yeah, sounds all right.
It's a Shure SM7B microphone. Very nice indeed.
Are you gonna make a short about it, or
about I've already made a video about this particular microphone. It's not something I've sold one before, and I've got one that I'm keeping that's going to be mine. I'm tempted to keep a second one.
Good.
And this would be that second one. So if I ever do a podcast with my daughter when she's older, it might be that we both have matching SM7B microphones, and this would be one of them.
Oh, that's cool. Cool.
Very.
Would you try to sell that Newman for? That Nauman? Would you try to sell that Nauman for?
I'm not. There's quite a lot of the microphones that I bought that I want to keep. So, for instance, this and the other one that I've got would be used potentially as podcast microphones for me and my daughter. And originally I was going to use the Rode Procasters, but I got them and then they were terrible with plosives. You put a P sound into them and they'd pop, so I ended up putting a furry dead cat on them. And then if you moved them, you'd hear it creaking, like you'd hear the mic. It had handling noise. So then I bought a shock mount for the Procaster, which I like the sound of. And then by the time I'd finished, it weighed over a kilo for the mic. And I'm like, you put it on a stand and it would just sag instantly. Now, don't get me wrong, the SM7B's also a very heavy microphone, but it doesn't need a shock mount and it doesn't need a dead cat. So it's kind of complete as it is with a yoke. You know, it looks cool. It's the same mic that Joe Rogan uses, but the Joe Rogan mic, if you will, it's also the Michael Jackson mic, the SM7 was at least. This is a version of that mic that Thriller was done with. But it's just a cool mic and it sounds great. So I'm tempted to keep this one, the one I've already got, which is just exactly the same. So I've got two SM7Bs. One will be used for me and one will be potentially used for my daughter. And if not, I'll just sell it. But the Neumanns, no. I mean, I've got two Neumanns. One is the one that I use typically for the show, the shotgun mic that I use for the show, so I can wave my hands around. Or to put it another way, this mic.
What? So that's Sony SM7.
That's a Neumann, although you can't quite properly hear it because it's now pointing down.
It's a Neumann, not a Neumann.
It's Neumann.
Why do you guys say Neumann?
Because it's Neumann.
It's N-U-E, isn't it?
It's Neumann.
Yeah. N-U-E would be... Well, anyway, the SM7 replaced that Neumann 47 that Michael had.
Yeah, I mean, most studios will use 47s or 87s. You know, they a lot of them are using Neumann microphones. But for Thriller, for that particular song, he just happened to, or is it Quincy Jones, picked that particular microphone to get that particular dark tone, this tone that this mic produces. So the SM7 just happens to be quite a dark microphone. I really like the sound of the SM7. I really like the sound of Neumann's. I also like biodynamic microphones. There's loads of them, but I've kept quite a few of them.
Nathan, explain to them the dark you mean. You mean frequency, a lot of mids.
It just means mid and bass heavy. That's all it means.
Right. Right. Okay. Because they think dark like, oh, what color is maybe? Was it dark blue?
No, we don't.
Yeah, it just means rolled off in the highs and extended in the bass frequencies. Like there's an accentuated bass, a bit of an accentuated mid-range, and a bit of a rolled off treble. That's what I would call a dark sounding microphone. So ribbon microphones are especially dark. Anyway, I'm going to disconnect this mic now. Sounds good.
You sound more
I just wanted to ask you. I'm sorry, D-Rose, to interrupt, but I just wanted to ask Neil. Neil, have you ever heard of Sigmund Freud?
Yeah, of course.
Sigmund Freud.
Good one. I guess you told me.
Yeah. Edward Bernays' nephew.
Freudman.
Yeah, Edward Bernays would be Sigmund Freud's nephew, so it's an uncle, wasn't it? Yeah.
Hold on, wait a second. Newman, spell the word Newman for me. The microphone Newman.
N-U-E-M-A-N-N.
Neumann.
Got to teach them their own freaking language. It's Newman. Neumann. I got to hear you. And even George Harrison calls it a Neumann. Got to hear him on a video from 1969 saying, "Is that the Neumann?"
Well, then respect it, because while you were 3 years old, he was saying Neumann. So respect that. And he's one of your band member heroes. Anyway, Nathan.
You know what it is? D-Rose, I keep thinking of Seinfeld. How am I going to say Neumann? It's Newman, not Neumann.
Anyway, Nathan, the Neumann makes your voice sound more husky and masculine. The other one makes your voice sound more shrill and, like nasal. Cleaner, but not as like you said, you could tell the difference of the resonance, the frequency. Sounds like you're like, "Welcome to Flat Earth, and this is your host, Nathan." And the other one, you're like, "Welcome to Flat Earth, and this is your host, Nathan Oakley."
Let me ask you a question. How advanced do you think these AIs are? Not just the AI intelligence. I'm talking about as far as passing off as a human. Do you think we're there yet?
Neil, I'm going to share with you. You thought you heard what one deck gave you? If I shared with you what this thing did with all the tracks that I've done since 2000, 1995 and 2000, and put these voices on here and did the reproduction just by me selecting whatever instruments I want into it, you will say, "Off the air."
No, I get that, but I'm saying, are they advanced to the point where, let's just say, throw this out there, because there's a dude doing something that's never been done before, and he's doing it with ease. And my brother threw this at me, goes, "The freaking guy's AI. Look at his eyes." So I started watching the game last night, and I started looking at Shohei Ohtani's eyes, and the freaking guy doesn't look real.
Yeah,
How is he doing it?
Yeah.
How is he doing things that haven't been done since the beginning of baseball, let's just say? And that was a whole different era.
That's
This
what I
guy's
feel.
able to go out there, pitch freaking, and then bat in the same game, and then 4 days later,
Effortless.
pitch,
Yeah, effortless.
hit 2 home runs, 2 doubles,
Neil,
and
that's how I feel.
RBIs.
Neil, that's how I feel about Steph Curry. Okay, Steph Curry throwing full court
the same way.
pushes.
Steph Curry's the same way. Yeah.
Nah, that's not like, can't compare that to what this guy's doing. Because baseball's a different sport. Baseball is no time limit. You got to get 27 outs. And there's a lot of different scenarios that go on to baseball. This guy is just machine-like.
Yeah, he's perfect. He's a perfect
but
human.
he depends on the errors of somebody else, right? He depends on the errors of an opponent. I'm talking about Steph Curry is taking shots and making shots, whether he's contested or not, that no other human being has ever done. No other human being has ever done.
Yeah, but you're fine. You want to compare it to basketball. But hold on. Then, if he was AI, this is my argument to my brother. If the guy was artificial intelligence and he's not a real person, then he's going to be hitting everything. He's not going to miss it all. But then he said, yeah, but if they made it like that, then everybody would know that he's AI. So they got to make him with some flaws. He can't get a hit every time. He can't strike out every person. But it seems a little freaking weird, man. He's got lifeless eyes.
Yeah, they kept showing. They always put the camera on him, eh? On his face.
Yeah, but that could just be the Japanese upbringing too, because they're very formal, right? They're very very polite.
Humble.
You ever see a school? You ever see Japanese kids school? Kids in Japan conduct themselves? Jin can testify to that.
Yeah.
There's a standard called the Turing test. And the Turing test is whether or not a artificial synthetic bot, if you want to call them that, can pass for human. That's called the Turing test.
And what is it?
The Turing test is just what I just said like 25 seconds ago. Can a bot pass for human?
Okay.
So if you're on a chat, like if you go to a customer service chat, so at the moment I'm constantly on Every's customer service site for lost parcels, and you're presented with a chat bot. Well, at some point, that chat bot will pass for human. That's to say, you'll be on the phone, and instead of press 1 if you want to watch Jurassic Park, press 2 if you want to watch The Matrix, that will turn into, hi, Odeon Cinema, can I help you? And you're like, all right, Karen, I'm just hoping to book some tickets. Right, what film do you want? And you're like, fine, Karen's speaking to me about what film I want, and you don't realise that Karen doesn't exist. She's just a bot. That means that bot has passed the Turing test.
Yeah.
Hold on, before you go, Guns. Well, then here's the thing with this Japanese player. He does not speak directly to people. He speaks to his interpreter. So the interpreter could be masking the robotism, if you want to call it that.
Oh, Tommy doesn't speak English?
No, he's got an interpreter.
Now, Tommy's legit. I've spoken to him. He's not a bullshitter.
That's a picture, isn't it? The other guy, Yokomoto or whatever. Isn't that the guy who can't speak English? The Japanese pitcher? Their ace?
Trust me, bro. He's real. Trust me.
Shohei Ohtani he speaks to an interpreter. I'm not talking about Yamataka Yamamoto. He's pitching tomorrow night.
Okay.
Ohtani's the one that bats and hits like Babe Ruth used to do in the 1900s.
Yeah.
Babe
Was it
Ruth
true
is
he had
definitely
3
real.
home
I'm pretty
runs
sure of that.
in one game when he was pitching? Is that true? He had 3 home runs in one game, and he was pitching as well during the season. Is that true?
Yes.
But Ohtani?
He just did it the other day, did it in the playoffs.
That's unbelievable. Like you said, that's
robotic.
First time. Yeah. And he's like big, eh? He's 6'4".
Is it robotic because he's a pitcher doing it?
Well, because pitchers are a whole different thing. You know the game today. You either pitch or you hit. Back in the day, they didn't do that. The pitcher just pitched. Babe Ruth was the one that pitched and hit, and he pitched well and hit well. Right? It hasn't been done since. Now Ohtani's here, and he's doing the same thing. They even made the Ohtani rules, whereas to say they take Ohtani out in the 7th inning, right? He could still hit as a DH, designated hitter. So it's a new rule they put into the game. And why I'm mad is I want the Yankees to get a freaking robot if these bastards have a robot in L.A.
Hey, Neil, LA is National League. Neil, LA is National League. They've always had pitchers. They've always had pitchers that hit. Maybe not as well as this guy, but they've always had pitchers that hit and was designated hitters.
They had to hit. And what they would do is as soon as they can, when they were getting ready to take the pitcher out, they'd pinch hit from. Yeah, that was the rule they had to hit. But nobody is doing what he's doing.
Yeah. National
He's
League
batting he's hitting over 50 home runs a year. He's batting 300 every year. He's freaking pitching lights out.
Neil, did you ever think this, being that he's a pitcher? Listen to me. Did you ever think this, being that he's a pitcher, an extremely skilled pitcher, from a culture that is very analytical and studies and masters things, that he probably knows about trajectory? He probably knows about the position of a ball as it comes to him. Maybe he's the better batter than other batters who don't know the study of pitching because they don't pitch. So he has 2 things for him. It's like a quarterback that used to play cornerback or vice versa. He knows the defense and knows the offense. Maybe that's what it is. He's
Yeah, but
so
knowing
mastered.
all of these things, hold on, knowing all of these things are not going to give you the power to hit the type home runs this guy hits. They're powering
effortless.
shots.
Is he little? Is he little?
No, he's a big guy. He's
How
over
like him?
6 foot.
6'4".
Like six, I'd say he's 6'4", 6'5".
Yeah. Slender.
Okay then.
Well built.
Neil, are you saying that the ability of others and how good others are can only be based against how good you are?
Well, it's how good the other players are. Like you got Aaron Judge. He's doing the same thing, but he can't pitch. Right?
Yeah. On the Yankees, yeah. Yeah.
This guy's able to do two freaking things simultaneously, like in the same freaking game.
Well, where'd this guy
Strange.
come from? Was he playing Japan or what?
Yeah, they pulled him from Japan. Yeah, he's one of the Japanese players.
Oh my God, he must have just tore that league up.
Yeah. They say that he was trained to be this. He was trained since he's like 5 years old. He's been training to be a pitcher that also could hit.
And that's not improbable. That's not improbable.
I'm not saying
Plus
it is,
he's
but
small.
to the extent that he's doing it, it's like
They said
freaking.
the same thing about Tiger. They said the same thing about Tiger. They still say it about Michael Jordan. Some people are just like masters, bro, and you have to accept it.
Yeah, but you're missing the whole thing. They're playing one game basketball. This guy's playing one game baseball, but two distinct, totally opposite from each other positions. One is throwing the ball and one is hitting the ball. He's doing both. I mean, he's not throwing to himself and hitting it, but you know what I mean.
Are you guys forgetting Bo?
And before Jordan, hold on. There was a guy named Dr. J when I was a kid who was the original airwalker who went behind the rim in midair, turned around and hit a bank off the freaking backboard right in. And I was against Magic.
We have to step in because it's turned into a show about baseball. So with that, I'm going to say another huge, massive, enormous thank you to both Discord and G Plus panels for making today's after show possible. And of course, a massive thank you to all of you for liking, commenting, sharing, subscribing, joining as a Nathan Oakley 1980 channel member and all that good stuff. I've been Nathan Oakley and I will see you all in the next video.